Hi everyone, welcome to our first Lead Coffee Talk. My name is Rustam and today we're going to talk about collaboration and communication within a tech team. Let's start. Hey Jethro. Very welcome, Jethro. Very nice having you. Well, I know you love bragging about yourself, so please go ahead. Let us know why you're here.
Me? Brag about myself? You wanted to be the host. No, for real. My name's Jethro. I've been a tech leader and software engineer for quite a long time now, and I'm really excited to be on the show so we can discuss certain problems and I can share my knowledge to help certain situations that people see on their day-to-day lives. Also, I would like to do this before the AI takes over, so hopefully we can get that done.
You might be right there, because I actually asked AI to generate the team that we're going to be talking about. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen the team, and let me just say it's the widest team I've ever seen.
I don't know what kind of data they trained on. Well, let's take a look at it. Yeah, shall we go?
Right in, yeah.
Well, Jethro, before we jump into it, let me introduce the team to our audience. I asked AI to create this team. So what it came up with is 7 team members. It's a Scrum team, and we will talk about all of the team members throughout the series. However, today we would like to focus on 2 of them. One is Thijs. It's a senior backend developer with 10 plus years of experience in the company. He basically built the whole system, whole solution of the previous project from scratch. And second person is Bram. He's also a senior developer, very good one. And he's joining the team and the company. So everything is new for him. So Jethro, you might already know what I'm going to discuss here. You might already feel that there might be some tension between the two. Because Thijs knows a lot. He's built the system. He has his opinions. He's like, why change things if they're already working? And Bram, however, might bring new energy, bring new ideas into the project. What do you think about this? And how would you handle this?
Yeah, first of all, I think everyone loves an innovation versus legacy discussion, right? It's a very common thing we see in the industry. And I think in these kind of situations, we need to understand both perspectives going into the discussion. First of all, before I had any discussions with the team, I think what would be good for the team in general is to have a roles and responsibilities session. So what I suggest in this situation would be for us to first have a session where everyone can come together. We'll put on a whiteboard all the different roles that we have in the team, for instance. So Tyson Brown would fall under probably the backend engineer. We'd have one for whatever else you had, product owner, a tech lead, for instance. And in this session, I would first ask everyone to put down what they expect on the board with a sticky note for each role, right? So you'd have a product owner, you would have some stickies there, you would have one tech lead, senior engineer. Once everyone's had a chance just to put their stickies down, no talking, no discussion, just put your thoughts on the board. I go through each role and I would take each role and summarize and combine the stickies to make a clear guideline for what we have in the team. So I think this is always a good starting point for any team that I would join, simply because it then highlights what's expected from each member in the team, and it facilitates much better communication going forward. I think after this session, what would be important for us to do is to have what I like to call a collaborative moment. So anytime the team gets together and can work on something together is a nice time, what I like to call a collaborative moment. These are very important for the team because you want to stimulate conversation. However, when it comes to communication, in this situation, I would expect Thijs and Bram to be at completely different levels in terms of communication style, right? So Thijs has been in the company for 10 years, as you say. He's built the whole system. He absolutely has an emotional connection to what he built. Often you hear engineers speaking about my baby. I created it. This is very common, right? And Bram's coming in and he's going to deliver everything on content. So Thijs on emotion, and Bram is going to be on content. And these 2 different levels of communication will absolutely cause friction between the 2. Someone's feelings could get hurt, or Bram, for instance, could think that Thijs is not listening because he only cares about what he built, and Thijs could think that Bram doesn't care about what he's built and he just wants to have a new idea, right? So that's very common in the situation. So first of all, it's good to get everyone in the meeting speaking at the same level, right? So we want to move we have to start at the lowest level, and emotional is always below content, right? So we want to get into the emotional level. We want to say, hey, Thijs, we understand what you built. We're all here to deliver a good solution. No one's coming from any bad intentions. I think Brom coming in, his ideas are fresh and new. He wants to help the company. I don't think anyone walks into a company and says, I want to destroy this team. That's generally no one's intentions going into a team, right? I always like to assume, especially as the leader, everyone has the best intentions for everything that they do. Everyone operates on a set of assumptions, and everyone tries to make the best decisions based on those assumptions. So I think Thijs and Brom have a very different set of assumptions in the situation. So first of all, I would like to get the emotional side over and say, hey guys, everyone's coming from a good perspective here. Let's focus on building something good. We understand what you've built has really helped the company, Thijs, and we've seen that it's been a success over the last 10 years. That's amazing. Congrats on building software that lasts that long. That doesn't happen every single day. Once you've moved past that point where you're speaking about emotion and you can now speak about content, now we can start talking about the fresh ideas. And when the fresh ideas come in, we can choose each one, and we can assess them as a team on a content level. So why would we want to go with this part? Or why would we want to go with this solution? And what are the differences? And as we all know, when it comes to technical decisions about solutions and the way you should move forward, there is no silver bullet, right? So staying with Thijs' situation, there will be some negatives and positives to that solution. And if we go with a brand new idea that Brom has, there will also be negatives and positives. So as a team, we need to decide, and I think most decisions when it comes to tech needs to be a decision that the team makes together. Right. And I think if we decide together on something, we can put it inside like an ADR, which is a decision record where we've all decided on something. We can specify why we decided on a solution, what are the consequences or the negatives. And I think that helps the team move forward in that way. So for me, it would be, first of all, let's discuss what solution we want to go for. If that's the old one, the new one, a hybrid, something else, that's just where we want to get the team talking. And then secondly, we would document that in an ADR, for instance. And then once we have that documented, then we have a good place to move forward as a team. The only problem you can see in this situation maybe is, what if the team can't come to a decision, right? Maybe that's something that you were thinking about. In this situation, when you're the leader in a team, sometimes this will happen where the team can't come to a decision together, and you need to be the one that makes that decision, right? So you, as a leader, the responsibility to make the decision falls on your shoulders. It's the team's decision, but at the end of the day, when a decision needs to be made, the leader's the one that has to stand up and say, this is where we're going to go. I have a good strategy in this situation for how you can protect the team from making decisions, because making decisions can be hard. It's a high risk sometimes for them. So what I like to do is put myself in the front of the decision and say, hey, if the decision is the wrong one and we end up with problems, I'll take responsibility. I'll say it was my idea, and I'll take the full responsibility or the flack that comes from making that decision. However, if the decision's the right one and we move in a good way, the whole team can celebrate the win, and I'm happy to share that with the team. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, Jethro, you really unpacked that question. So before we move forward, let me try to summarize what you just said.
Yeah, sure.
So we just talked about how it's important to create roles and collaborations moment, right? So create a meeting where we sit together with the whole team and decide whose role means what for the rest of the team. What was the second one you talked about, Jethro? What was the second point you made? Yeah,
sure. So for me, collaborative moments is the next step that I like to take. Yep.
Collaborative moments, indeed. So create those collaborative moments together. Make sure that the team has time to discuss things, that team meets regularly and communicates with each other well, right? The third point we talked about was sitting together with Thijs and Bram, bringing them onto the emotional level and explaining to Thijs on the emotional level that, hey, no one is here to destroy the team. Everyone has the same goal. Everyone is trying to achieve great success together. And the last point you made, which I absolutely loved, is writing down the notes on a decision. How did you call it? Decision records?
An ADR, decision record.
ADR, decision records, to have it written down how things progressed or not.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think you completely killed my first question, so I'm just going to move to the next one. Second question I had for you, Jethro, today. So you joined this, like you have all these ideas already, and you already feel Thijs and Bram. However, you joined on the first day the team, and this is a hybrid team. So maybe they're working 1 day a week in the office, maybe twice a week. However, your first day in the team is online. And you notice that in their first meeting, everyone has their cameras off, and you have to introduce yourself. I already have an opinion about this. I've been in teams like this. I'm curious to hear what you think about this.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think in the current landscape, post-corona, we all kind of move towards a hybrid model. Even if you're working in the same country, most of the time you have 1 or 2 office days. The rest of the time is online. So I think the online time is as important as the office time, right? And we need to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and happy in those moments. So I think for me, what I would do in the situation is if I joined on the first day, I need to introduce myself, and what I would do is, what I always say is, be the change you want to see. Yeah. So if you want the team to act in a certain way, you as the leader most of the time are going to have to be the one that breaks the ice or does the first step or runs the first mile or whatever the case may be. And I think in this situation, I would turn my camera on and say, hey guys, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to speak a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to make it open that whoever else would like to step up and introduce themselves, please turn your camera on. I would like to see your face because I'm new to the team, and I'm sure everyone else would appreciate seeing your face. So let's turn our cameras on when you introduce yourself. If you want to leave it on afterwards, that's also good. And then just be the change that you want to see in that situation. Yeah.
Awesome. So to summarize, be the hero you want to see others, or be the example you want to see others to be. Have a little call to action. Hey guys, let's turn on our cameras, let's introduce ourselves, and let people make their own choices. If they really don't want to open the cameras, let them be. Maybe there is a situation, and maybe this can change over time.
Yeah, exactly. I think over time is important, right? So I mentioned in the first question about collaborative moments.
Yep.
I think what's really important about collaborative moments is that people like to bond over things, and it's very difficult to bond when you don't know someone or you haven't worked with them. So if you don't work together, how can you have a connection with them, right? Yep. And the way you get to the personal connection is via a common interest. And all of us are working, we're all programmers or whatever the case may be. So we already have a common interest in a common situation where we can work together. So you shouldn't be too hard on yourself or the team and say, wow, I joined the team and no one turned their cameras on. Yeah, it's the first day. You can't expect to change everything in the team. But you can, by creating moments to collaborate, that eventually there will be times where someone's working together, for instance, they pair programming, which I'm really a big fan of, pair programming, for instance, and someone's cat walks across the screen, right? That's very common. Someone's cat walks across the screen. The person who you're talking to also has a cat. And then they ask you, hey, what about your cat? What's his name? Or your kids screaming in the background. Oh, I also have kids. There's a lot of different things. Personal moments pop up in those professional moments. And I think that's how you can bond and grow the team culture together.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely agree with it. So it's all about giving it time for those moments to build up and building the bond together. Same as any relationship that you have outside of work as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cool. Awesome. I think that nails that question as well, Jethro. Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, then I have a last one for you, and that's an interesting one. So Thijs, he's been in the company for a very long time, right? Much longer than you've been. So he might feel entitled to be a tech lead because he has the experience, he's been there the longest, he knows the company inside out. He feels entitled. Have you been in this situation, and what have you done about it?
Yeah, again, this is a really good question. And I think in my experience, this has happened once or twice. And my general approach to this is to try and flip the narrative a little bit, right? So obviously, Thijs will probably feel a little bit let down that maybe he didn't get the role in that respect. But also, it's good to show Thijs that you appreciate him and you really want him to be the person that he wants to be. Leadership is not necessarily I'm the tech lead and therefore I make all the decisions and everything revolves around me, right? In your team, you can have multiple leaders and everyone should be a leader in something inside of the team, right? You don't have to have one person. Yeah, sure. If everything's going wrong and you need to, or things are going, everyone needs to look at one person. You have to be that person. But on a day-to-day, when Thijs's pair programming was say a junior engineer, he needs to be the leader in that situation. So it's not necessarily you didn't get the role and you should feel bad about that. No, as a leader in a team, we're all working together to achieve that goal. And it's good to mention to Thijs that you're not here to replace him. You're not here to remove him. Actually, you're coming in as a supportive role. I always feel, and I think it's very important for leaders to be supportive of their team and not be the ones that gets the spotlight, right? I think that actually a leader should be the one with the team working hard every single day and making sure that elevating each member and making sure each member is winning on a day-to-day basis, not yourself, right? I think a leadership role is one of the most selfless roles that there are, and you need to sacrifice yourself a lot and forget about your own personal ambitions and focus more on what are the team's ambitions and what can the team achieve. And I think that that's important, and it's good to let Thijs know that you're not here to replace him, you're here to support him and actually actually help him achieve whatever goals he would like to see.
And would you do that in a one-on-one meeting, or would you have a group meeting with the whole team and have this topic discussed?
Yeah, so I think, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's really good to have the roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
And I think this is a perfect time to mention exactly what you would like to bring to the team as a leader, and also what other people expect from you. So I think it's really good to have that clear and open on the table. And in terms of Thijs, it's hard to say because the dynamic can change. If I felt that maybe it was a very personal situation for him and he felt he couldn't really open up about that in front of people, I wouldn't do that. I think it's more about making sure that the person you're talking to is comfortable in the space that you're talking to them, right? Because as someone new to the team, I have no prior prejudice or bias inside of the team. Yeah. I'm just coming in to try and help the team and to move the team forward. And in this way, I think it would be good for me to identify that what is the most comfortable that Thijs could be in this kind of situation, and how can I help him speak about what he wants to speak about.
I absolutely agree with you, and I love how you also connected the roles and responsibility meetings that you just talked recently, how you can bring the ties into the conversation have during the roles and responsibilities meeting. So just to summarize, create a roles and responsibility meeting, have ties in that meeting, and make sure that the roles are clear. Also, Jethro today highlighted the difference, I think, between boss and the leader. You're not their boss to tell team what to do and to take all the credit. You are there as a selfless member trying to help the team to multiply the ability of the team and propel the whole team forward.
Absolutely. I think what's important to note, especially in tech leadership, it also probably applies to a lot of other places, but you hear this a lot when you, so Thijs in the situation actually would be called what we call a maker, right? So Thijs is very good at delivering code. He's a maker, and the leadership role is more of a multiplier role, right? So it's okay for Thijs to want to be that leader role, and you can help him with a junior engineer, for instance, try and multiply his abilities with the junior engineer. So yeah, I think overall it's very good to, as a leader, to be a multiplier and to focus on how can you elevate your team.
Awesome, Jethro. Those were all my questions for today. I think I need some coffee.
Yeah, me too.
Shall we get back to our table?
Let's do it.
Well, Jethro, that was awesome. A lot of information on communication. Absolutely loved it. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I really think that communication is an important part of any team dynamic, so I'm always happy to share my experience with this.
Awesome. Do you know what we're going to talk about next time?
Please tell me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're going to deep dive into collaboration within the team, how to foster it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions to us or to Jethro, please leave them in the comments below. See you next time.
Bye. Throw the cards.
Throw the cards.
Throw the card.